Mersi.
Gata?
Eu va trebui să mă retrag acum, pentru că de la 7 eu trebuie să intru în montaje. Și trebuie să ajung ca să stau cu laptopul în față și să...
Și acum faci studiu?
Și nu, mă duc unde sunt cazată. Acum, că asta mi-a luat o oră ca să vin cu taxi. Stau acasă la o prietenă. Și n-am stat să mă uit, am zis că dacă și după aceea vreau ca să pot să plec după ce termin online.
Eu mă bucur că
eu vreau să stau neapărat acum un pic.
Că stați, cum să nu?
Păi de mi-am calculat timpii. Și nu...
Da.
Și pentru că în Sibiu, într-o jumătate de oră, ești dintr-un capăt în altul oraș.
Așa aici, într-o capăt în alta unui cartier, ajungi în jumătate de oră dacă pleci la ora potrivită. Dar da.
Nu, acum am asta și când mi-am calculat timpul, mi-am dat seama că nu mă încadrez. Și nu pot să intru de pe telefon, că îmi trebuie să le arăt studenților că pregătim bazarul pentru...
În regulă, nu e. Mă bucur că nicio problemă. Mă bucur că...
Îmi cer scuze, dar o să vreau ca să... Pentru că aici este o lucrare care mi s-a părut foarte interesant de cât de am apucat să rămân. Nu, atunci dacă astea numai să-mi ziceți când le publicați, că era...
Aici eu... Nu toți autorii.
Deci, odată partea asta...
E colega Florentina.
Da? Deci asta, pentru că și eu dau tot felul de modele de luare a decizii și atunci eram foarte curioasă să văd.
Deci că nu e un model economic sau nu este un model economic. Este exact. Vorbesc mai mult despre ce dimensiuni ar trebui să aibă o decizie smart în contextul ăsta de digitalizării. Că noi trebuie să ne bazăm pe problemele teoretice pe care le avem în administrație. Ce ar trebui să...
Deci de asta, că am putea să rămân pentru lucrarea asta, nu ca să rămân asta și mai era partea asta de cultural heritage, pentru că și noi aveam o doi de probleme pe partea
despre, nu se cunoaștem modelele clasice, pe care le știm în teorie, ce se în administrație. În contextul digitalizării, de exemplu, teoria regerii raționale se dezvoltă prin dar nu este o modelare în sensul în care înțeleg ce spune.
Toate bune?
Vreau să fac asta în momentul viitor. Eu am și background în matematică, dar deocamdată nu mi-a ajuns să fac în modelare de aia.
Dacă vă lasă o...
Sigur.
Mai urmat că nu, dar am văzut, am stat și am zis, nu, eu chiar pentru partea asta, am zis, vreau să facem modele să sunt viabile pe direcția asta. Mă gândesc că dacă asta nu este și am zis, hai să nu iau eu cu câteva să aici, am dat că dați în studia 15 minute, mă câte mai modific ceva. Ideea era eram interesată de asta și asta era
Da, asta e all of it having to pay after we go back. Da.
Yes. Yes, when you have your presentation, you should. Are you the first one? Florentina, we have we will have. Yes.
Asta prima nu se prezintă.
Ba da, sunt aici.
No, we will.
You have to come here to the laptop.
So how did you RSVP? Like with an email?
Okay, dear colleagues, hello to the next SIC panel called Smart Economies in Transition. My name is Nikola Vangelov and I'm a representative from Sofia University. At first, I'd like to thank the organizers in the pleasant and always smiling face, Catherine. Thank you so much. We have grown, I believe, fond of each other over the years. And quite frankly, it was really nice to see some familiar faces from last conferences. For instance, Anatoly and Raphael. I was actually a moderator in last year's panel of your presentations. As well, we can see other participants. So that it means the conference is gathering speed and it's expanding. Thank you so much to the organization as well. It's really nice to have people from all over the world including ideas, never mind in the area of the presentation or within the area of the always great lunch dinner, etc. And yesterday actually it was a great event. My first time in the enormous, I would say, most pleasing Parliament House. I believe that all of us took great pleasure in the tour and the presentations themselves. So to cut the long story short, I will give the floor to Anatoly and Raphael to present their report on smart technologies and rural cultural heritage perspectives for sustainable development.
Hello everyone. I am present Moldovan Economic Academy.
Okay, so
Our article-
all the participants will have like 15 minutes.
Okay. Our article is named about smart technologies and rural cultural heritage perspectives from sustainable development. This year in September was mine workshop in Moldova on framework of European Digital Heritage Days with participation representatives from Romania, Ukraine, and the Republic of Moldova. This was started initiation our joint activities with colleges consortium of archaeological heritage between three countries in the framework of this complex area. Our article is dedicated to the concept of smart villages clusters in the archaeological rich pre-Cucuteni, Arshid, Cucuteni, Tripolian regions. We view cultural heritage not only as an object preservation, but also as a resource for innovation and sustainable development. The research is based on the achievement of synergy of digital technologies, bioeconomy, and interregional collaboration. Challenges and opportunities of this region pre-Cucuteni Tripoli. The territory of archaeological complex face depopulation, low digital maturity, and limited infrastructure. At the same time, it boasts a unique cultural and archaeological heritage that could become a driver of innovation. The project goal is to combine heritage, modern technology, and sustainable development. Smart villages concept, cluster, key concept. This is not just a technological equipped village, but an ecosystem. Sustainable is achieved through the synergy of cultural heritage, utilization, bioenergy, and local production. Key components: cultural core, bioenergy, digital management, biomaterials, production, education, tourism, and cluster circular systems. This we present a framework of collaboration between Ukraine, Romania, and Moldova. The three main components of documents of the integrated geospatial information frameworks developed by United Nations GIM integrated geospatial information. For in our countries, it's adopted this document, and new technologies, GIS, LIDAR, drones, and photogrammetry enable the creation of digital models of archaeological cities. And in this context, we will plan it building geospatial data platforms. Digital twin of the village is beginning in development. This is a model of internationalization, and Moldova and Ukraine now is new candidate countries in the European Union. Romania is a member of this European community, and we take in consideration model of a roadmap of smart specialization internationalization. Moldova has 6 regional developments. In this context, all 6 regional developments and selected pilot areas of this complex Pre-Kukutien Tripoli, inclusive Ukraine, main important in these situations, with their priorities and on basis of developed research of archaeological consortium Moldova, Ukraine, and Romania. In Moldova, 2 pilot areas is selected near district Soroka, village Stolnichen, and district Orhei, Morozheni. This is region north of Moldova and region center. This is pilot areas was selected. In interdisciplinary working group is being formed at the university, government, non-government organization, and businesses. Non-government organization have a role of operator public-private partners, innovative partnership in this context. The European entrepreneurship development approach is used to identify potential and areas of transformation. Key elements of smart village cluster: cultural core, bioenergy, digital platform, biomaterial production, education, tourism, and circular systems. This is what was specified in our article. This is last our research activities in front of Central European Initiative EU government. This model of smart villages with components of Internet of Things and model, and the best selected practices in European Union. Next year we can to adopt it 2-3 pilot areas from in Moldova and inclusive in Ukraine on basis of this selected digital twin from Germany, Hungary, Romania inclusive. European Innovation Technology Institute, Silicon Valley Hub, and transnational integration. This is new model, 2-3 years was founded, and we can possibly continue this work in framework of European Union United States agenda for new candidate countries. This is important, but benchmarking and recommendation tools from Joint Research Center, European Commission, there is one competence center of technology transfer. On this basis, we planning 2 activities in selected pilot areas, Republic of Moldova and Ukraine. Conclusions and implementation path. Cultural heritage is a resource for innovation, economics, and social inclusions. Geospatial technologies plus bioeconomy plus tourism equal sustainability and economic growth. For implementation, authorities integration into strategies, support for cross-border collaboration, universities interdisciplinary educational program. We can plan together in framework consortium and research laboratories, smart living lab or other. There is regional innovation scheme, European Institute of Innovation, and collaboration with investor donors, blended funding, support of digital platform and monitoring. Smart Villages cluster enables the transformation of cultural heritage into an active resource for the future, combining traditions, technologies, and sustainable development. Last week in Moldova, Universitatea Technological University was presented new cross-border project Moldova-Romania, digital innovation hub cross-border. This is first model which can be scalability for other frontier Romania, Ukraine, Moldova, Ukraine inclusive. Therefore, this is first step, and our work was assist these cross-border activities in framework of trilateral collaboration.
Thank you so much, Anatoly. I would suggest, if of course you agree, that all the questions are at the last part. So, of course, if you have any, you may write them down and ask our participants later on at the last part of the panel. Is this okay with all of you?
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so thank you so much, Anatoly. And now we are at this awkward stage that I give the floor to myself. And Holly.
I should give you that.
Sorry for that. Yes, indeed, I was busy taking pictures. That's also important, It's sharing that there are plenty of activities ongoing. Yeah. Sorry for that. So now I'm presenting my co-chair, Nicola. He already said we have a long-lasting relationship, and he's usually part of this conference. So here it is again. Speaking about advertising for people, digital media, and citizen engagement in the smart urban environment. So, okay. Nicola, this time as a presenter, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, and I'll try to keep it very short and succinct. What I have prepared for you today is several key points on our report with a colleague of mine, Study of Felicity at Sofia University as well. So we would analyze advertising and what it has to do with being smart in a city. So the aim of actually it was a content study, not rather, I would say, in-depth as Katalin presented through our previous panel. But the aim was to explore how intelligent and diverse advertising can be in order to raise awareness and inclusion and bring interaction within the audience of a smart city, the urban environment. And of course, our core thesis, which hopefully we defended by the end through content analysis and actually 2 case studies that I would briefly display in just a couple of seconds. That by using a strategy that aligns with the values and using the capabilities of AI through various media channels, advertising can be driven from the point of being a usually industry or corporate business-oriented tool rather than being on the verge of being commercial, transformed into being a social one. So several key points and steps that it needs to take is to become dispatched from the idea of being traditional in the view that it tends to bring only in one-way direction communication flow. And in order to do so, it needs to create a dialogue with the smart city environment so that it uses the context and it is pretty much aware of it. So driving the civic society within it and making it inclusive with participation. Perhaps a mechanism may be used in some key areas of AI within the, of course, mining the ethical environment. Of course, keeping in mind that it needs to drive and bring public value. For instance, imagine that AI and advertising is usually used to sell products, so whether it be services or goods. And for instance, it may be used through the digital environment and AI in order to view our shopping history. We can bring these elements of advertising towards the public space and, for instance, show real-time participating vote within the several area, for instance, a neighborhood or a specific location in order to inform and interact with the audience. Of course, there are many elements, but we tried to outline several key, I would say, pillars of making this all possible. We need to be context relevant. So AI has the capability of analyzing information in real time. And it does so for at least a decade. It's been doing so for at least a decade for the advertising business. Why not for the civil society? And of course, we have several examples with digital out-of-home advertising in this regard. The content needs to be adapted in order to tailor the style, the language, or the complexity of a certain, for instance, city, district, or neighborhood. And of course, here the goal is to digitally divide and promote different ideas and ensure that the message resonates with the audience. And sorry, last but not least, as I mentioned earlier, we need to communicate with the audience so that the flow goes two ways, not only one way, which is, for instance, usually the case with TV advertising. And our first example is with, actually it was a campaign, an advertising campaign, I believe from 2014, so that's more than 10 years ago, by IBM. So we have this, I would say, very robust boards inside, throughout the city that are used with a curve, for instance, to aid its citizens in whatever means they need to. So it was called Smart Ideas for Smarter Cities. And as you can see, we are helping the people, not only advertising in this regard, as I said, more than 10 years ago. So besides doing so, the project aimed at driving discussion within the city's population so that people would go online and I would say discuss the communication or even suggest any ideas that they might have for making the city smarter. So just a brief table for some interactivity components. For instance, throughout the years, I've been teaching our students at Sofia University that if we manage to make a communication, a marketing communication, whether it be advertising, public relations, sales promotion, whatever, interactive, we are driving its effectiveness upwards. And to do so, we might be able, of course, within the realm of the city space, do so by physical action. So, for instance, imagine that you are scanning a QR code, which is, I wouldn't say something innovative, but we can do so, and tap with the interactive screen so that we give our vote. Perhaps the next element might be flow, which means that the message itself is neither too simplistic so that it would increase the boredom of the people, nor it is too complex so that they don't get the message. As I mentioned, the next element is the two-way communication and feedback, of course, which is rather important for us to make our communication better and raise its effectiveness, I mean, from gathering feedback. And of course, the capabilities, personalization, the capabilities of AI in, for instance, contextual advertising to personalize the message to various groups of people or even to individuals. Actually, this year, couple 2 months ago, we had this roundtable on the complex issues concerning advertising, and we gathered at Sofia University at the Faculty of Journalism and Mass Communication, specialists from top advertising brands within Bulgaria and representatives of the municipal bodies. And one of their key takeaways was that advertising communication has gotten even more personalized throughout the years, which would mean that we would target even the single customer with different or a variation of the advertising message itself. So this capability may be used for driving or influencing masses of people or even individuals within the smart city environment. And just a second, the next case study is actually a video that I tried to download. Hopefully it will run with sound. So it is an ambient advertising. It's again social type of advertising. It's not the commercial side. It would mean that, as you would see, it interacts with the audience. It makes it actually, usually social advertising raises a social problem that needs to be solved. And in this regard, it was about street safety. I mean, I'm pretty sure that within our cities, even throughout the Sunshine State, that I was really happy to visit almost 20 years ago, have this issue, perhaps not on this scale, but in Europe, most usually, of course, in Eastern Europe, we do. So actually, it is a commercial, social advertising, I would say 7 years ago.
To live the lives. I'm born to dance. Want me to work like a dog in a full-time job?
Yeah,
I'm born to dance. Don't want to cook, no tie, no shirt, and even no pants. I'm born to dance. You shaking your head, well, I'll be shaking my ass, cause I'm born to dance. I want to shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, girl. Do you want to shake it? I want to shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, yo. Watch me dance now.
The older guy was catching up. Like yeah, Christmas, yes. So who pays for this? It's public service.
You see the brand Smart, rather than selling us, for instance, electric vehicles or automobiles, in this regard, they are paying for a social campaign, advertising campaign. You guessed the city, yes?
Yes, Lisbon.
Yeah.
I was the first. I was before you.
me, yeah.
Great, actually. So yeah, of course, rather than driving up sales, they are perhaps solving a social problem. For instance, we did have this problem in Sofia, Bulgaria, a couple of years ago, but probably not so anymore. I was astonished to see that in Bucharest, people are crossing and cars are stopping. If actually we think about crossing, which was 20 years ago when I visited the Sunshine State, well, of course, perhaps there was this incentive of being penalized $150 not stopping for a pedestrian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in conclusion, for instance, we might use the initiative of social advertising for civic participation, and we shift the objective of being commercial to the outcome of serving the city's audience. Of course, we may keep in mind that we might personalize the message within the actually core, for instance, of a city neighborhood or within the city itself, or even the different consumer. Of course, we didn't discuss several key issues, of course, for instance, being ethical with this kind of information. This might be key takeaway for our perhaps next presentation. And of course, we need to be authentical and transparent, most importantly, transparent with the use of information and how we use it in order for instance, of course, in the European realm, we have this GDPR, which pretty much is involved with more key takeaways on keeping information safe. Thank you so much.
Of course, now the floor is yours for questions, if you have. Whatever it takes to work, right? I mean, if dancing will stop people, and why not using it? I saw, you want to ask a question?
Yeah, so the idea of segmentation.
Please.
The idea of segmentation, the public, the idea of segmentation, the public, it's really, private sector here. Speaking in the public sector, you usually think about the public as a whole. We don't want to segment it. So who is going to do that? And the public sector is going to segment the public? How these different groups are going to get their messages? Do you understand?
Right. I believe I get it. Actually, it was an initiative from our last presenter, Katalin, from our previous panel, that was with this analysis of understanding the reflection on the city's perspective and its strategies on its people. And they analyzed, for instance, I believe it was two groups, the municipal body and the mayor's profile on Facebook and their opinions on Facebook, for instance. Of course, this may be applied, but we should, I believe, keep in mind that it is through the efforts of the business itself that it might help, for instance, the public body. Because in my opinion, since I, of course, having this background working at Sofia Tourism Administration, I would say that businesses are rather more agile, if I might say so, rather more driven to make use of this information and this personalization. And if, I believe, the municipal body decides to lend them the opportunity to dive into this personalization of information and perhaps drive up sales for the business, but give to the municipality as well, we might use their power. Because, for instance, I wouldn't say that right now, I'm not sure, but this is my opinion as well. For instance, in Sofia, we have this municipal power to do so on the, say, municipal level without the aid of the business itself. So perhaps a cooperation between the businesses and municipalities is one way to do so.
To segment the public and send this personalized message.
Yep, because I wouldn't say that so far, at least Sofia City has had the opportunity to have this segmentation. Either possibility or lack of will. I wouldn't dare go further in order to be politically correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on that? Is well, it's a tool. Why not using it to gain more advantages, either financially or socially, or of course there are, as you put it, there are some ethical constraints, but of course there are people that will tackle this situation from a technical perspective. We just need to firstly, I would say, develop the tool, and then we see how we can kind of like put sort of guardrails not to be used improperly. Of course, and I saw regarding the movie you posted, I saw another one which was very interesting to me. Not in European cities, or maybe I don't remember. It was a camera searching for motorcyclists who don't have a helmet, and they want to turn the green light into the red line into a green light if you don't wear a helmet, and it's a huge screen projecting you, saying that you don't have a helmet, so if you don't have it, you will all stay at the red light. So also, and it was a commercial and they were selling this. So yeah, it's used, and AI is very much used in this, and why not? Because I remember you asked who pays for, how much it costs a life is priceless,
In
right?
cost
So
benefit analysis, we do put monetary price of life, but yeah, I know.
I don't know, does that in Europe? Is this in Europe? Yeah, okay. Mhm. Well, anyway, it doesn't have a price sort of. So if you can make it like if you can save a life, then all the money spent on that. Well spent, yes, especially if you know kids, those are usually don't pay attention because elders they do pay attention, so it's not necessary for them. Okay, thank you very much, Nicola. Now I'm inviting David Ferenc. Okay. Oh, you switched.
Yeah, we have three of us.
All three of you, yes, Milena and Sukumar. Oh, okay, so such a strong team of researchers with a paper, administrative discretion versus algorithm governance in Smart. Well, open them all and you will. No, it's not there. Well, it's on there. It's on the desktop, maybe.
Well, it's on the desktop.
So when they're sorting out the technical kind
Because
part.
online, so there are people that are not that many, but there are still people.
Like you. Okay, so yeah, it was we put this project kind of in the very last minute, so and we have a lot of fun doing it. We started thinking about how administrative discretion will change in algorithmic governance in smart cities. So we will start with kind of the traditional way of thinking about administrative discretion. What we know about administrative discretion is that bureaucrats are given a lot of power during the implementation of public policy. Why is that? Because legislators, those that give them these powers, they cannot kind of foresee all the circumstances in which policies would be applied. So they give the bureaucrats, the administrators, the flexibility to apply the policies depending on the specific situation. So if I am going over the speed limit in the Sunshine State, there will be always a police officer who is going to pull me over. And the police officer has basically three choices. To give me a ticket, to give me a warning, or just let me go with like kind of an advice to slow down. So whether the police officer would choose one of these three depends on their personal kind of assessment of the situation, assessment of the driver, all these taken together. So if I get a ticket, this would be, again, this discretion. If I'm let go, this is the police officer discretion. So all this is because of the need, because of the complexity, uncertainty of situations, and you want to apply the policies based on kind of the unique circumstances. So two narratives in the classic PA describe how public administrators use discretion. One of them is the one of state agents. Public administrators are rule-oriented. They have to enforce the public policies and they enforce the rules. So this would be, going back to my example, I would get a fine. Like right away, I would get a ticket because the state agent, I violated the rules, and the state agent, if this is the state agent, the police officers acting as a state agent would give me a ticket. The second one is the citizen agents. So these are the situations, this applies to situations where public administrators are actually citizen oriented. They look at the circumstances, so the other two getting a warning and being let go with an advice will be probably more citizen kind of oriented, given that I'm not kind of dangerous for other people on the road. So while neutrality has been a long-standing virtue in bureaucratic ethos, multiple studies document that actually public administrators behave as moral agents. They are helping citizens in various situations. So thinking about, changing from this kind of very paper-based, or in the police officer kind of example, very in-person based interactions, and moving to algorithmic governance, we were thinking that the role of state agents might be easier automated and integrated into an algorithm compared to the role, because we have clear tasks, we have clear rules here, but the role of citizen agents will be kind of difficult to transform, because it is more idiosyncratic, it depends on different circumstances in which the policy is being implemented. So thinking about the importance, we still, even in algorithmic governance, we still need administrative discretion. Why it is important? Again, responding to unique individual circumstances. You cannot apply policies uniformly. Ensuring fairness. Some people are in different kind of situations, so we need to think about equity in outcomes, not only being procedurally fair, not only about procedural fairness, but also equity in outcomes and protecting individual rights. We know that in America, going back to my example of the police officer pulling over citizens for various violations, we know that minority citizens get pulled over more often than whites. For purposes of accountability, Nicole spoke about this as well. It is, we are actually doing, for public administration, we are doing a special issue on handling accountability in AI use. And legitimacy of decisions. When we have algorithmic governance, it's not very clear who is making the decisions. So we're still in this kind of a different time, algorithmic governance time. We still want to think about kind of transparency in the decision making. So advantages of integrating AI and having AI decide is, consistency. People tend not to be consistent in their decisions. Efficiency, it's faster, and it will give public administrators the opportunity to focus on complex situations where they do need to apply their discretion, and leave the ordinary cases to AI systems. So I'll turn it over now to my colleague Sukumar Ganapati, who is gonna go deeper into the intricacies of digital transformation.
So mainly I was getting I'm getting into the second part of it, that in terms of discretion. Oh. It's working?
Try this one to be sure. God knows. Yeah.
So in terms of discretion, if there is discretion in the normal process of how government works, how does that change in the context of the digital government, right? So just to walk us a little bit back in time, we can identify about 3 phases of how the digital government has itself evolved. If you look at it, the first kind of a section of the e-government was essentially one wave of where all of the paper-based processes were being transformed into electronic processes at the back office, right? So those are more of the back office operations being automated and so forth. That's about, I would say, 1995 to about 2005 or so. The second phase of it was more of what we now call as smart government, that is essentially not just the back office operations, but also citizen-oriented operations that are being automated in this. And a lot of this happens with transactions, but also location-based services, which can be done 24/7 at any place, wherever you are, you get that service. But what we are getting into very quickly, and that's where a lot of the discretion matters, is in this algorithmic governance, which is essentially AI-driven in this space, where a lot of the decisions are now left to the AI systems. If we look at it in terms of the AI, there's both predictive analytics, which is essentially what has been there until about 2018, 2019, and what has happened since then with generative AI, that's since 2022, that now we are at a stage where we are talking about agentic decisions, which is we are delegating all of the decisions to the AI agents. If certain things happen, that triggers a particular decision. So the question becomes, what happens to discretion? And that's essentially the paradigm that the issue that we are dealing with out here. So if we pose the whole problem that way, then what happens to this kind of a tension between decision making by AI systems without any discretion versus what happens in an administrative process where you do need the discretion? So that's where this kind of an idea of how we can come about designing systems that are discretion aware, that is the discretion aware algorithms in the first place, and the second place, the algorithm aware administrations. That's where the training of the administration of the public administrations comes in. So in terms of the discretion aware algorithms, that's more of an onus on the algorithms themselves. That is the process by which the automatic decision-making process is happening, and to what extent there can be a leeway for building in discretion, that is the human element in the agentic decision-making. And the second part of that is the algorithm-aware administration itself. That is when public administrators themselves are taking decisions, then to what extent they are able to interfere in the algorithmic kinds of decision-making process. So that comes into a lot of play. I know that's a lot of material out there, but essentially the point is about how do we design the system in a way that accommodates both discretion on one hand and be algorithmic on the other hand. And how do we get to that particular efficiency process? And that's where I hand it over.
Yeah, thank you. So up to this point, we have been seeing that discretion is unavailable in public administration. Street-level bureaucracies act sometimes as state agents, applying roles, and sometimes as citizens or moral agents, interpreting roles in light of individual circumstances. Well, digitalization and AI do not remove this discretion, as Professor Sukumar was saying. They relocate it into data choice models, design, and system configuration. On this slide, we introduced the idea of discretion-aware algorithms and algorithm-aware administrations as a way of making data location explicit and governable. So by discretion-aware algorithms, we mean systems that are deliberately designed to not close down every choice, but to leave room for context, exceptions, and human overrides where moral judgments or rights are at stake. This can mean configurable thresholds, pause buttons for human review, or rules that explicitly route borderline cases to a person instead of the machine. And in parallel, algorithms-aware administrations are organizations that have the skills, roles, and procedures to oversee these systems. So people who understand how the models work, routines for auditing outputs, mechanisms to explain decisions to citizens, and clear lines of accountability when something goes wrong. The central task for public administration is therefore not simply to adopt AI, but to design institutions in which smart city algorithms generally enhance efficiency without undermining legality, fairness, and fundamental rights. So to operationalize this idea, it is helpful to think in terms of a spectrum of discretion in smart city decisions. At one hand, we have law discretion, routine tasks where the roles are clear and the consequences of errors are relatively limited. For example, counting the number of cars or switching the traffic lights according to predefined optimization roles. So here, algorithms can safely act as state agents in the concept that Professor Milena presented. They automated the role, following a role that bureaucrats have always played and stayed. As we move along the spectrum, we encounter medium description tasks where decisions are more contestable and the stakes for citizens become higher, such as land use planning, as we will see, risk classifications, or eligibility scoring. At the far end, we find high discretion, high risk situations. And I also have an example here in the next slides where decisions can have life-changing or even life or death consequences, and where values like dignity, equality, and due processes must be carefully balanced. So in these spaces, human moral agency must remain central, and algorithms, if used at all, should be clear positioned as decision support rather than decision makers. Okay, so let's look for some examples from my country, Portugal. And this first slide, this first example is from a city that is named Guimarães. And in fact, it was where Portugal born and raised as a country in the 12th century. And nowadays, it makes that tradition of a medieval city with the modernity of a smart city. Guimarães is using the smart parking platform. Is good illustration of the law discretion and on that spectrum that we were talking about. So, for example, it can monetize, as in many other countries and cities, the occupancy of parks if it exceeds 90% or not, and then apply rules, including the price of the parking if it is so high with high demand. So this shows that there are many areas in smart city management where algorithmic governance is not only acceptable but also desirable, as in the lights in the traffic, providing the framing for rules that have been democratically set and periodically reviewed. So in this next slide, we have another example, but I would say from a medium discretion zone. This is the national system that monitors the land in Portugal. And here AI is used to classify satellite images and other geospatial data into different land categories. feeding municipal, urban planning, environmental licensing, inspections, and risk management. On the surface, it appears technical and neutral, but pixels are classified as urban, agriculture, forest, or water according to learned patterns. So it is where there are also medium description to make some of those classifications and decisions with impact for those that own the land. Of course, it's different if you can have an urban construction or use the land only for agriculture, for instance, and this implies on the value, of course, of the land. The next example is the introduction of an artificial intelligence assistant 2 years ago. We had another examples before, but these went deep, and it illustrates also how algorithm governance can transform the front office based on artificial intelligence chatbots, and behind the complex administrative procedures that can run 24/7 hours in multiple languages. So the system runs in 12 different languages and can provide services between public administration and citizens. The next example is the most delicate one that I have been talking when I start. It is the 112 emergency call, the 911 in USA. And this new system in Portugal tried to introduce exact geolocation of callers and ChatGPT style voice bot to answer and make some triage of emergency calls. So the system will detect the caller languages, convert to speech to text, summarize the problem and the location, and forward this information to the emergency city institute agency that runs the ambulances, helicopters, and other devices for rescue. So an emergency call is a moment, as you all know, of extreme vulnerability, and often involving panic, ambiguous information, and complex clinical judgment. So errors in understanding due to accents, background noise, differences in language, or health literacy gaps can, when we are talking about algorithms, also introduce gaps of information to those that will receive the translation that comes from the bots. And this is something that we introduce as an experimental. It is being experimented, and we already turn over a little bit because it was not producing the results that we were expecting. So there are many emergency calls, as you know. In Portugal, it is about 9 million calls per year, and we are 10 million. Of course, not every citizen is making a call, but we have tourists. Sometimes the same person called 2 times or 3 times, so it counts 9 million calls. And it is very difficult to make the distinguishment between what is an emergency or not. And making in this service, introducing the algorithms, this is an example, taking into consideration the examples that we also had as practical, that algorithms could have give a more space for discretion to humans, because the information must be validated in many of the situations that they have to judge. So to conclude, the core message of this presentation is that the future of smart cities will not be determined simply, of course, by how sophisticated our algorithms are, but by how intelligently we integrate them with administrative discretion. Algorithms can be excellent state agents for low risk, role-bounded tasks, and there are many smart city services, like the examples that we saw: parking management, routine information provision. But at the same time, both human discretion and algorithm decision-making carry risks, as we see on these emergency services. So the key questions for public administration Therefore, it's not algorithms versus discretion, but how to embed discretion within algorithms and responsibility around algorithms. We need principles and design patterns that keep moral agency visible, like proportionality between risk and automation, transparency and explainability, contestability and appeal, attention to vulnerable groups, as some already mentioned, and clear assignment of accountability when things go wrong. So this is not traditional, but becomes a research topic nowadays, because when you automatize, who is accountable for that decision? Probably it's not who programmed the algorithm, that a technician or a mayor or a minister helps to provide. So the future of smart cities is not algorithms versus bureaucrats, I would say, but administrations that understands algorithms and algorithms that are designed for responsible discretion. If we combine low risk automation, strong safeguards in high risk areas, and institutions capable of auditing and contesting algorithm decisions, we can use for sure artificial intelligence to strengthen not only smart cities, as we have been talking here in this conference, but also smart states, smart regions, and other public services. So not weaken, but democratic and rights-based on this public administration that has to use algorithms and AI for sure in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edith, Milena, and Sukumar. Perhaps we might continue right now with the Q&A session with your presentation. If there are any questions from the audience, yes.
Thank you. I don't know if it's a question or a comment, maybe a question. Okay, because I did some research in the field of the use of AI in administrative procedure, because this is my field of interest. It was it concerned foreigners and legalization of their stay in Poland, but doesn't matter. And I read about some research on this medium discretion. I don't know how to say moments. Yes, when you say that AI suggests and human decide. And this research, I don't remember the name of the authors. Their research proved that when AI suggests solutions, humans say, yes, we tend to accept it, we believe somehow it's better. Maybe, have you got such experiences, or maybe you did some research, or you can, you have some examples from your countries? Does it work like this? Or maybe how can we overcome this tendency we have? Because it's risky in this context.
Yeah, exactly. So the answer I would say is in making public administrators aware of the algorithms, because the more they understand how the decision is made, the more they would be probably critical of the AI decision. Right now, they are not trained. The machine is telling them that I suggest this, and they go by this because the machine is smarter. They know that the machine is using all this information that none of us has. So I think what David was talking about making public administrators aware of algorithms and how algorithmic governance would be a solution. And I completely agree. This is one of the challenges. We trust AI too much, and yeah, it's in America as well. Public administrators do go with the suggestion of the AI.
Let me just have one issue, one topic regarding what Milena was saying, that is, we are trusting many times AI because it is a closed box also, where we cannot look inside. Or even if we try to look inside, we cannot understand all the complexity of the algorithm as a whole. So it is very comfortable now for public administrators. If they don't know the algorithm, as Milena was saying, if they are not aware how they can be programmed, to be more confident. They have to put a lot of technicity, they have to go deep in research in order to have all the information that the machine can process in seconds. And this is difficult to do. However, with the time and with the evolution of the society, many algorithms that we are programming now and putting into the machine, they will be giving, if they are not sufficient intelligence to learn by themselves, of course it depends on the type of technology that we are using. If they are not using all the like learn machine and kinds like that, being more intelligent according to all the information that they get from the society, there will be possible, as it was in when we make bureaucratic procedures, they stay during many years according to the social needs, but when the social needs change and you still have bureaucracy demanding the same procedures, that you are providing something as a decision that society don't want no more. And I think this is something that we should also train our civil service to be aware of, how to monitorize, how to evaluate the decisions that are being done. And of course, with technology and with all the artificial intelligence, if we can introduce in the algorithms the learning from those information, and for sure in many situations we can, but in others we can't, and we should be avoid of that. And I think this is a critical thinking that we must have as humans so far. Of course, there are some developments also in conscience, artificial conscience, gaining artificial intelligence on human conscience, but we are not so far on that stage.
There's also a logical challenge, very quickly. That's when you're given an option like that of what AI is thinking, then if you have to go against that, you have to have good reasons for why to displace that. And that requires conscious thinking. And that comes to that critical thinking part also.
Thank you so much. Any other questions from the audience?
Great question. Thank you so much.
I was thinking, since I spoke about gathering information, and since we are all in certain ways different while being similar in other ways, is algorithmic governance culturally specific? You coming from different countries, even continents, have you thought about this one in terms of a variable within the idea of implementing such a technology in various countries, various cities?
Well, the quick answer is currently no, because of the way the algorithms are designed, right? But if the algorithms become culturally aware, then yes. But right now, at the stage with which it is, at least the kind of data it is getting, it's pretty much biased. It's culturally biased.
Yeah, this is a point, but I also would like to say that some countries, at least like Albania, have a ministry that is run by artificial intelligence. And some cultures accept more algorithmics, maybe, than others, or maybe not cultures, but also based on age or based on skills that people have on digitalization or not, those that start before or not before. But one thing that I think is common to all cultures is that they want to know when there is a decision that affects themselves, especially negatively, they would like to know why machine, or you, even if it's human or the machine, why the machine decided negatively to their requirement. And I think that is common in every culture.
Thank you. Okay, if there are any other questions, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation and answers. Now I would like to give the floor to Florentina. Yes, we'll discuss decision-making modeling in smart public administration from theory to best practices.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction and for this opportunity. So this is my first work on decision making in public administration. I will try to explore more in some future papers, but for now, the research objectives were to analyze theoretical models of the decision-making process in the public administration, to evaluate the impact of digitalization and AI on decision-making, and identify the dimensions of a smart decision in public administration. To be short, I wanted to identify the main models of decision-making process in public administration and to see how does these theoretical models transform in this context of digitalization. So here we have a small description of the main theoretical models identified, and a few words about the relevance to public administration of each one, from the rational choice theory to garbage can model. I'm not going to bore you with all this because it's too theoretical. I'm going to talk about the benefits and challenges of the impact of digitalization and AI on decision making. The benefits I identified in literature was data-driven insights, the efficiency and speed of decisions, transparency and citizen engagement, and some challenges, data bias, ethical legal concerns, over-reliance on AI, and implementation barriers. So one conclusion is that this smart public administration as a concept is not only about digital service. It really reconfigures decision making by adding integrated data analysis, algorithmic support, active citizen involvement, and I think the main outcome for this is the faster identification of issues, real-time policy adjustments, and predictive insights. So here we have some key dimensions of smart decision making I identified. I think a smart decision have to rely on these four dimensions. The data-driven governance, because we have the evidence-based trend prediction and scenario analysis. We all know that decision has to be informed in this area of digitalization. We have so much access to data. The citizen-centric governance, participatory platforms, co-creation of policy, because sure we have to inform and consult to the citizens. So this is a very important dimension, I think, of a smart decision. Sure, AI and automation, because you have scenario analysis, resource optimization, or flow prediction. And least but not last, transparency and accountability, where we have explainable AI, auditability, and traceability of decisions. So I made this diagram with the key dimensions I found for smart decision making. Some advantages of smart decision making: efficiency and speed to reduce the time for decision making. Policy quality, because we have a more predictable and relevant decisions. Transparency and accountability, real-time monitoring and auditing. Civic participation, direct involvement in policy creation. Innovation and organizational adaptability, testing, adjusting, continuous learning. So how does digitalization reshape classical decision-making models in public administration? We saw on the first slide the theoretical models from the rational theory to garbage can model. Rational choice theory enriches with the predictive algorithms, bound on rationality AI for good enough optimization, incrementalism, decision adjusted in real time, prospect theory, citizen behavior analysis with big data, and the garbage can model digital system correlating problem solutions and actors. And in conclusion, digitalization transforms public decisions by adding speed, objectivity, and adaptability. Decisions quality improves through data analysis and AI prediction. So do citizen participation and transparency. Smart decisions promote innovation and institutional flexibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your talk. Thank you for your presentation. Any questions from the audience?
We speak a lot about involving citizens in the decision making. So do you have any examples how this can be done? I know Nicholas talked about this, about having, this two-way communication between citizens, but do you have any examples of how this can be done? We do it, but usually these are public meetings, these are, those required forms of citizen engagement. Do you have any other examples of how this can be done?
Sure, we have some, in Romania, we have some platforms for consultations on city halls. They publish decisions or plans for different acts, and citizens have to participate and validate the decisions by their opinions.
By voting or by leaving feedback?
By feedback, as I know, sometimes feedback is not live. It's they receive a form and they have to write down their opinions and send that opinion to dissidents.
Florentina, any other questions from the audience? Perhaps I might do so myself. Florentina, do you think that it is possible through, as you well put it in your presentation, through AI that we reach a higher state of objectivity while making, for instance, municipal decisions and making the audience, which is actually the city's residents or visitors, believe that the decision was made more objectively than a human would have done so? And there is a background to this question. For instance, I'm sure that all of us, perhaps living or having visited big cities, have had this problem of finding a parking space. And right now in Sofia, Bulgaria, we have this huge problem because the municipality decided to expand the paid parking zone within several districts of Sofia. We have 24 districts. So, and there were mass rebellions. There were boulevards and streets blocked because people in certain neighborhoods that, as mine as well, that live really close to the city center but not that close, would say that they didn't see the immediate infrastructure from the municipality in order to be paying for parking space. And do you think that perhaps if, in this regard, in this case, there was a decision or analysis made by AI, these negative, I would say, rather not feelings, but outbursts of the residents of such neighborhoods would have been negated in a way, so that I would believe it was AI that made this decision, it was a machine, it is not that corrupt as some perhaps, excuse, pardon my French, municipal bodies, that this might have negated the effect.
Thank you. It's not an academic opinion, but I will say it anyway. I think that people need someone to blame. But the black box can be blamed. So maybe, yes, maybe they will trust more that the decision is more transparent if is took by an AI system than a human. But I will have to talk a little bit about the bias because okay, we trust you and we have AI who gives us transparency in this case, but what do you do when you have to take decisions in more than, I don't know, for some social problems or some other cases in public administration, because there you have to feed the system with data. You have to be sure that you include all this data, and you have the right decision. And when I'm talking about the right decision, I'm talking about non-discriminatory measures and other things like that. So maybe in this case sounds funny, but I think people trust in this moment AI and automation more than some person to blame. Thank you.
Any additions perhaps?
Just wondering to know your opinion. You presented the theories and models in the beginning, and you talk about the garbage can, and the first one, if I'm not wrong, it was the rational
Choice theory.
So how do you see that smart cities or AI can turn or contribute to solutions under the garbage can model be more rational? I'm not sure if you understand my question. We have problems, solutions, but they are complex. They arise from more the possible responses that we have. But with AI, with the information that arises from smart cities, from those complex problems, do you think we can handle and become more rational on the decision when they come from that part of the garbage can model?
To piggyback on David's question, so all these theories, they are there because we as humans are not fully rational, and the AI is fully rational. So in a way, I was going to comment on this, but in private, in a way, I think all these theories are irrelevant in the age of AI, I think, because most of them reflect our kind of problems as humans. We cannot foresee all the kind of consequences. We do not take into account all possible solutions. So going back to bounded rationality, we have bounded rationality because we are humans.
Sure, I agree. That's why after many years on rational choice theory, it appears the bounded rationality who says, okay, that's more about rationality. Let's say that solution maybe not great, but satisfactory. It's better than no solution until you find the greatest one. Yes, in this area of AI, these kind of models, they're not relevant anymore. That's why I wanted to see how they transform, in which field of automation and AI they have a pattern maybe, or something to hang to.
Thank you so so much for the data. Is not present. So I guess that we will close our session. If, of course, there are any questions towards our previous presentations from the audience, speak now or be silenced forever. Okay, so let's do it. Please, Kathleen.
No, it's no question here. Thank you very much for participating. It was quite a large audience, I would say. Thank you, Florentina. Thank you, David. Thank you, all of the participants. Not all of them are still here yet, but I see. Thank you, and I think it's time for a bit ahead of, but time for coffee break, right?
Sorry to miss your presentation, but that is okay. Did you guys bring the sign up sheet? Did you bring the sign up sheet? Yeah, okay. Sign up sheet now for accountability purposes of the sheet. For attendance. Yeah, attendance. Sign up sheet for attendance. Yeah, so this is for, so the whole idea was that you are not there at the presentation, but we need your signature. Because this is for, she needs to sign up sheet. It means participation. Attendance and participation. This is what I taught the students. Sign up sheet.
We came for you have been on my face.
You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much.
Can you make it again?
Yeah.
Because you finished earlier.
Actually, David, I wrote everything you said. I know how to say because we spoke a lot. Yeah, but all these examples, the kind of task dependent, you were talking about the kind of the characteristics of the task.
I don't need to.
Yes.
So did you repeat it for us?
Yeah, on the dinner.
Yeah.
And in a different way, probably.
Nicola,
Oh, hello.
Българската група, да. Софийския университет, аз също съм директор на София университет.
Примавлен.
По журналистика примавлен, но те учи в теология.
Аз изградвах в факултета по журналистика. 24 часа работих там преди 2000 година. Print media?
So, now,
Не,
we came for coffee.
аз съм сега от...
We came for coffee.
Аз ние към мен 2000 година. Бях журналист в 24 часа между 90 и 2000-та. После спечелихме зелени карти и аз бях шеф на отдел в 24 часа. Много интересно. После започнах да идвам обратно с студенти в България и с организиращи такива сладителното класи. И винаги ги водих в университета. Да. Okay. I always take the students to see the newspaper. You know, it is much smaller now. Back then it had like this huge circulation. If you remember the time, this was probably one of the biggest Bulgarian newspapers. I learned a lot. It's so
During the university period,
Yeah.
coming from socialist to democratic.
Yeah, so it helps a lot, you know, being a journalist helps a lot with writing.
The coffee is there already.
Yes, yes.
Correct?
Not but a water tourism, so I don't share water with you.
Так, сега, добре да
Може и телефонче, може да се.
email.
How were the last sessions?
Everybody is happy.
They conclude.
We finish about,
Oh, I'm sorry.
we finish about 1:30. Yeah. And Diana said she
Да,
will
и,
be
ама как
coming
да
here, so
има да се
we wait.
квалифицираме пазара? Как може да се прави
But it was heavy traffic.
да изпълнява свършване 20 минути на душата? Да, ама някак си отговорността, когато си правителство е по-голяма. И да, много интересно. Чак сега ще ти звънна на този телефон или?
So, but if you do not have presentation, we can have a coffee and go back and have a rest before dinner.
I think I'm on that mood.
Yeah. No, we discussed with, we have a big table for the whole room, and I spoke with Diana, she will come. For 8 p.m. Because she said presentation that we should enjoy our last, because for most of us it's the last. But because you will stay one more day, so you can but for tonight,
So if you want, you can join us.
Of course.
yeah, of course.
And say that you will come also there.
Yeah, of course. I told her if she wants, she can invite also some of
Yeah.
her staff.
Well, now we are thinking about people.
Sign it back well. Let's see.
I have to send her because I have to send her
Diana is in her office. Is in her office.
She knows.
А ти се познаваш ли с хора? О, сега се познаеш, да? Ние с нея правим. Да, ние с нея правим тази.
We have to decide.
You found the coffee outside? Or it was a question? Okay. With flavor. Sorry. But it's a hotel, so maybe that's why.
It is an hotel, that one? But it's full of people and it's very big.
But you
I actually missed one session that I was supposed to chair. I thought that I'm chairing just one, and then I realized that actually I had two to chair. But maybe it will be managed.
Грешка.
Only coffee or?
Only but they joke because they call it tea.
Как се изложи?
And in the rest of the Spanish speaking tea means red wine.
Но, добре, ама да, толкова съм свикнала вече. О, много се нямам голяма глупост.
When they ask stewardess, please bring me tea too. Colombian ask for coffee. The another understand wine.
Как трудно да се пише с... Acho que esse tipo era um pouco de não sei como é que sabe. Bisognava che to parecendo. Posso plantar isso para mim. Daí quando eu penso mais, olha. Tá. И говорите да имат възможност да имат имейла си. Не са собствено. И данните си трябва да публикуваш какви, в смисъл, колко се свършил с различна администрация. Администрация се става нещата.
Може си оставим пиесата си мисля.
Колко се става тук, да се остава.
Ние ще да се преместим обаче в другата стая, в 6.9 или 6.10, защото днес това е последната тук. 6.9, 6.6, и са в първия.
Да се познаем с моята приятелка.
Между това мисля, защото не трябва да бъде има се.
Господин. Okay. Той сега ще го издам. Те се закъснели, като се пуска и чакащите. I love it. I think we're
Prima mai continuato a fare da, poi immaginam că trebuie să merg cu piesa aia, oricum îi scriam codul așa. Da, da.
Dar nu știu dacă plecă. Ce de uitat în program.
Are you for the enterprise and maybe have more places available on that side? Yeah.
Acolo nu scrie eu și modelul. Ana, vabbè. Vrei acum, diciamo? Da, un po'
And they will by SMS to check online with the bots. Only if you don't have the solution automatically because the quantity of information that they provide on the website is more than the one that you can get on the cell phone. And if you cannot, maybe 4 or 5 interactions only. So that's great thing. There's a possibility. Click on the link and go to the conversation. Otherwise, it's almost 20 for that.
You're gonna share it in a writing with in the paper. I think people
Hello. Vedo un presentario online.
All good?
Bine. Concentrează-te și lovește, da? Bine, haide.
I better go and get my sign.
Well, I should get my things out so we don't interrupt you.
606.
Ce faceți?
Diana. Yeah, here. But let her to.
Yeah. She'll come. She just arrived.
She'll be coming.
If you ask me, there's not going to be a problem.
Am plecat cu sticul meu, că am pus să zic.
Oh my God, I kept this for you. I'm getting it from America. Please, please
My
accept it.
son will steal it for sure.
Please accept it. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is a journal inside.
Thank you very much.
Where is the journal? Oh, okay. It's here, probably. Yeah. In another pocket. There is a journal. So there is a pen. Oh, this iPhone has a journal.
But you're so good.
Sorry, I was like, I was afraid about it. Thank you for everything. Thank you. I hope to see you on our soil. Absolutely. We'll be happy to stay in touch with you and work with you.
That's why I came to say goodbye and to say thank you.
Look at you. Look at you. Oh my God. Like a model. Yeah.
Apart from being
Apart from being super smart and super successful.
So I heard that today you will be giving presents to the kids, isn't it? You should. Yeah.
Oh, so cute. Yeah. But yeah, tomorrow morning when they wake up, okay. We also okay.
So thank you very much for everything. You were perfect. Yeah, for match. It was very comfortable to be here. The hotel.
It was great. Many times for here.
Thank you.
If not, we can go. More of it. Come. He's coming. Thank you. Oh my God! Absolutely. Yeah, just let us know whenever so guys, are you going to stay with us for the next session?
I suppose because we are
Email is where?
So if you are not there tomorrow, thank you very much.
Yeah.
From your profession.
Waiting for you. Waiting for Hi there. I'm Diana.
Pleased to meet you.
So sorry to run late to our meeting. Very, very nice to see you. And please, you want to sit there, because we have a presentation. Right. I'll be joining you, and hi everyone, I'm so sorry for running late. It's so difficult for the traffic, like I was in the other office, No, seriously. So I know you, Joanna, very nice to see you again. Nice to meet you, thank you so much for joining, and again, apologies. Nice to meet you. Have you all, I don't know, uploaded your presentation on the laptop or something like that?
Yes, our presentation is already.
Like everyone is on time. Okay, so are you ready? Yeah, well, already not quite, but then thank you so much for being so gentle. So, David, do we want to start or do we want to wait a little longer?
Do we have everyone here?
Well, let me check my program, but as far as I know, we are.
So sorry for my pronunciation of the name.
Now it's your Romanian test, right?
So, Delia?
Delia and Tapia are here.
Yeah, so we have the first.
Yes. Venkat?
We don't.
I saw him, but I.
Maybe it's like, I'll go. Hold on. Thank you.
Claudia?
No, but it's you wanna hear, so it's okay. Most of my
Stefan?
yes, they are here. So Michaela Zamfir.
Is here?
No, I don't know. Michaela Zamfir. I will go and you
Yeah. So I think we can actually safely say that we can start, and then we will see how people are arriving. I think we need to use this just to be sure. It's because of the YouTube. And I don't know, in case we're, so if we record, this one is compulsory. So that's why I think we should be sharing this one, or otherwise, just move along. So, Dave, I think the floor is yours first to introduce yourself again.
No problem. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session on digital transitions and human values. My name is David Blake. I'm from Edith Cowan University in Western Australia. Please forgive me if I'm not communicating very well, but I only arrived last night, so the jet lag is starting to kick in. So. But it's a privilege to be here, and it's been really enjoyable to listen in to each of the sessions and to listen to all the presentations, which even are applicable even within the Australian context, even though we're talking about a European setting for these, they certainly are applicable as well. So we should probably get started, and I would like to invite, is it Delia, to give the first presentation on smart education in Romania.
This is yours. And do you want to go there and take or you want me to? I can click for you if you want.
Oh, I can go in first.
Okay.
I have my partner is fine.
And please, for everyone, if you want some Romanian sweets, which I hope you all know, it's there. But Dave, did you have like a chance to eat something?
Oh my
No.
God.
Anyway. It's
Hello
so far
everyone.
away.
Welcome to Romania. So, our presentation is about our research in smart education in Romania. Lessons learned from equipping the high schools through the National Recovery and Resilience Plan. Our study focuses on the dynamics between the contracting authority, the funding institutions, and the beneficiaries. The problem started from the fact that our students, our pupils, don't have enough digital skills. So the integration of the smart education is mandatory for developing the education. And this particular call, was about equipping some smart laboratories for different disciplines in high schools. Could be one smart laboratory for one high school or two, depending on the number of the students. You see, even the budget was not such a big budget, but enough for making some changes. And now you can see the distribution of these high schools in Romania. All counties had this opportunity. Were also private high schools that could apply. Mostly there are public high schools, obviously. Not so many with 2 smart labs, in general with only 1. I have mentioned to make not only high schools, but also technical colleges, technical schools, professional schools, and clubs, children clubs or palaces, as we know them.
Also, as you can see here, they choose to have 2 labs, not because actually because they could, but there are a lot of high school that choose to have only 1 because it was too much for them, too much papers to do.
Or it was not the space in their building to make the smart laboratory. We have questioned afford of all the beneficiaries, as you could see. What you can see here is a timeline of the implementation starting from when the applicant's guide was in public consultation in December 2022. Started the application. They had until March next year with a second deadline because we're not so many applicants, firstly. After, in May, really quickly, it was the list of all the high schools that were admitted, but it was a big delay until January 2024 when the first contracts were signed. And you can see also the implementation deadlines that had many changes over the years. And now the last deadline will be in March 2026. The main results of our research were indeed the fact that the perception about this opportunity was that is a rare funding, was a rare opportunity for the high schools to have this equipment in their schools. Almost half of them stated that all the process was moderately complex. Now we have to say that we are working in European funding and so on, and it was not so difficult, but for them seemed really complex. 10% considered it easy. The major issues, as you can see, lack of human resources specialized in applying for European funds, lack of time and of information about all the technical and administrative requests. And the majority of the beneficiaries started the public procurement procedures after 10 months or more, and they signed the contracts really late, especially from
The reasons above.
The reasons above, exactly. They said that the communication with the contracting authority was really good. The guidelines were clear, we didn't have problems related to this. As impact was a true reform for them, the students have a bigger interest in the lessons and so on. And over half of the beneficiaries will apply again if will be the chance to do it. As final conclusions, for sure, it was a very necessary funding opportunity. Even with all the challenges, it was for sure a lesson learned and an opportunity for them to empower their organization to grow their capacity. We are thinking now new research directions from this. Indeed, we want to study more even the perspective of the contracting authority and to study the beneficiaries that didn't make it till the end and to understand the causes. And the long-term impact would be interesting to evaluate it because we want to know exactly if all this equipment is used or is just staying there in high schools and is brand new. Thank you for your attention, and we are open to any curiosity and question.
Are there any questions? I have one. So were there differences between schools in urban centres versus regional in terms of the uptake?
So the funding was the same for everyone because it was mandatory to have some equipment like robots,
3D printers,
3D
VR
3D scanners, 3D pens, VR glasses. And so the ministry had a very good idea in regulating what you should buy. It was also some freedom in choosing other equipments, but some mandatory equipments, also with their technical specifications, because it was very important to assure that they will buy something at a high quality standard. Because after the COVID pandemic context, there were a lot of improvements in high schools, but not really good ones, just because it was cheap, we need it, we buy it. But here they assured that it will be something that will last. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay. Next is Venkat. Yeah.
Sorry.
If Venkat is not here, then Ioana? Yes. So Ioana is going to be speaking on when homes become data.
Okay. Thank you. I will show my presentation. This is it. So, and I will start.
I wrote this article with one of my colleagues, lecturer Elena Marinica, that is not here today, but their work is very important for this research. And we have a subtitle, Exploring the Ethical and Legal Dimension of AI Driving Domestic Spaces in the European Union. And we have four dimensions. The first one was about traditional home, in which we discussed about physical shelter providing privacy and intimacy. Second was digital meditation. We talk about IT sensors and AI system monitor daily activities. And also, in the third step, we talk about data environment, in which we discuss about every gesture become machine readable signals. And the last, regulated space, when we talk about GDPR and AI Act, govern data processing. And this is the part of my colleague, legal framework, GDPR and AI Act. I don't have many experience in this area, but I try to present this section. About GDPR protection, we include personal data that include movements, biometrics, emotional states, and special categories like health, religious symbols, affective conditions, privacy by design embodied in architecture, and transparency and consent requirements. And also we have some points in AI Act regulation, like high-risk systems require strict documentation. Emotion recognition face heightened scrutiny, prohibits manipulative AI practices, and also we conclude that architects become AI system operators. Also, this is one of my contribution, the aesthetic dimension, and we include three parts: algorithmic atmospheres like lighting, soundscapes, and temperature adapt to emotional states through AI control. Non-verbal portrait, who designs choice encode individual subjectivity into spatial form and materiality. And emotional design, because architecture becomes an emotional mirror system recording preferences and modes. And a few words about emotional data, that is a new frontier. What is emotional data? Microexpression. We include microexpression, voice tone, physiological rhythms, captured by sensor and analyzed by AI systems. Also, we have a dual function, which include aesthetic expression and juridical object requiring consent and also transparency. And we found the legal ambiguity not explicitly covered under GDPR Article 9, special categories, creating protection gaps despite sensitivity. And finally, emotion recognition system under the AI Act fakes strict requirements for accuracy, transparency, and human oversight to prevent discriminatory outcomes. And some effective computing in practice, sensing. We have biometric device record heart rate, e.g. Galvic Sing response processing. AI interprets data to estimate emotional states. Actuation system reconfigures atmosphere to match our counter affect. And also we can say that the home becomes a second skin that breaks and feels with the user, creating cyber-physical emotive spaces where architecture functions as an empathic partner. And we talk about some tension and challenges. First of all, the creative freedom versus data ethics. Designers must balance aesthetic innovation with GDPR compliance, minimization principles, and consent requirements. Second of all, autonomy and versus dependency. Algorithmic emotion regulation may reduce resilience as users rely on technological scaffolding, and privacy versus personalizations. Enhanced comfort requires progressing sensitive data, creating asymmetries between residents and technology. And also, when we talk about transparency versus opacity, invisible profiling and algorithmic inference operate below conscious awareness in interconnected systems. And I want to say that the architect must be an ethical curator because we have new responsibilities in new area. Architects now serve as mediators between law, technology, and user experience. Because they must conduct ethical impact assessment during design, integrate privacy by design principles, ensure transparency and auditability, and collaborate with data ethics and legal experts. And in final, they design for human dignity and also for their autonomy. And some ethical aesthetic governance framework, legal compliance. We must integrate GDPR and AI Act principles into architectural process from inception. Emotional transparency. We must make algorithmic operation comprehensible, interpretable, and contestable. In aesthetic accountability, we must recognize design as moral responsibility for information and also for security and well-being. And when we talk about data dignity, we must respect emotional integrity and ensure autonomy in data-driven environments. And we have some key about when we describe redefining the smart homes. We say that the datafication of domestic space transforms the European home into a dual construct, both aesthetic environment and legally protected sphere where personal identity materializes through data-driven sign. And we include the key sign, future direction, and also a call to action. That means develop intelligent environments that support dignity, autonomy, and psychological well-being while respecting fundamental rights. And that's all. Thank you. And if you have questions.
Any questions?
Thank you. So thank you for your presentation, and I'm sorry for missing the starting point, which might actually be quite the answer to my question. Because my question was, throughout your presentation, you said information should be, this should be done, that should be the case. Who says that?
The legal framework, I think that's it. But we says that because we interpret the legal frameworks like AI Act and GDPR regulations, and we say that it's more important to have more responsibility in this area, because an architect or a designer not design a house, but design before design the house. They must understanding the personality, and they found more information about their clients or their beneficiaries. Like, I don't know, their religion, their preferences, their cultural, I don't know, preferences, and it's not about design a house, or it's more complex than that. And I think that our rights, like human rights, it's very sensitive in this discussion.
Yeah, I'm asking because, I mean, you definitely know that there are different trends and patterns of understanding privacy. And so you've got places where you've got data collected anytime, everywhere. People know whom you're in the car with at some, right?
Yes.
If you're next to a bank or an ATM, your face will be, uploaded in whatever system. And even the idea of privacy, considering that there are students who are entering universities based on their, identification. Of course, they sign, right? But sometimes this doesn't happen with the consent, but it just happens because you're using a public road or a public street or a public corner. So I guess your point here is more about discussing privacy and how we actually, start to negotiate our own rights with our authorities or even with private entities, right? But we willingly allow others to see about ourselves and our life, even in the photos that we upload on different social media, which basically says a lot about our, our own feelings, our families, and so on and so forth. So that's why I've asked you, because I'm thinking that there is a dynamic in understanding privacy and understanding what exactly we should consider as a public or maybe, belonging to a private entity based on our consent and what we should not be in any case negotiating, So that's why I thought that it's a normative kind of, looking into. So thank you anyway.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much. No other questions? Okay, now I'd like to invite Stefan. And I'm sorry, but I can't pronounce your title of your speech. So.
Have you heard of the title of the presentation?
Your presentation.
Okay. No worries. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Yeah. Getting some. So that was a very good introductory subject, because I'm actually an architect and I work as an architect. I have a small office, and my colleague who will be presenting is also an architect. She's working at the Suceava town hall in the northern part of Romania, and she couldn't be present, but she recorded herself on YouTube. So hopefully this works. If not, I'm just gonna improvise something. But perfect, so it works. So you can see 11 minutes ago, just in time. Perfect time. So I'm gonna let the presentation go, and I'm up for questions afterwards.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Can I make it a little louder, maybe? Yeah. Okay. Do I need to record with the microphone, or it goes? Yeah, great.
If I may.
Definitely.
Maybe you can translate because not everyone understands Romanian, and I actually appreciate the information, but maybe our colleagues also would.
Sure, definitely. So the first box in the left, analyzing the legislation. Then you break it down into technical information and judiciary or legal information. Then you get from the bottom aggregate information from different examples of plan de situație. This plan de situație, as it's called in Romania, is like an overview, like a bird's eye view of the building. So it's from far away and it's kind of a general information about the future building. So this was our idea that we should start from a smaller scale of information. So what is basically the minimum information requirement that you can study? And we started from this plan de situație, which interestingly, this plan de situație goes to a lot of smaller fragmented permits. So this is mandatory in all of the interaction with the institutions. It's not enough. Some of them require more than that plan de situație, but it goes everywhere. So we said if we start from this one, because it's a smaller chunk of the information, then we can extrapolate to the. So then you have the IFC schema. The IFC is an international standard, industry foundation classes, and this is an open standard, and it's also ISO 16739, which is an international standard, and this basically describes the whole built environment. It describes the objects such as walls, ceilings, windows, whatever. It describes their properties. So the ceiling is white, that window can open in some direction. And then it describes the relationship. This ceiling is in this room is in this building is on this project, and so on. So this is basically an interoperability standard, the IFC. And it's the only one in the built environment that can do this stuff. And it's created by an NGO that started in the 90s. And it should be widely used internationally. It's well recognized. We are actually part of the organization that created it in the 90s. I'm also president and co-founder of an NGO that promotes technology and standards in the construction industry here in Romania. So we realized this is the way to go to digitalize the building permits. The building permits is autorizație de construire.
Yeah.
This is the way to go, because it's an open standard and it means interoperability and it means transparency for the digital building permit system, because that's mainly the reason why it's so difficult, because it's not digitalized in any way and it's not really transparent, it's not standardized. You need different documents depending on different municipalities. So this is basically the whole idea of this. And then all of those information, we mapped them on the schema, on the IFC schema, and you will see that some legislation concepts in Romanian legislation concepts are not 100% applicable to the standard, because it's particular to our legislation. So then we proposed actually creating some custom pieces in also a standardized manner that could be used and further expanded for the next steps, not just
Due respect for the co-author of the paper, but since you're here, maybe you can walk us through, the paper without.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it feels like, but I feel like this is more interaction and we can actually be more, we can learn more about it from you.
Sure, definitely. My colleague is very sorry she couldn't be present. She worked.
No, I mean, I truly appreciate that, and it's hard work to actually, do all these things. But maybe you can, because
we are not coming from, or I myself am not coming from, you know, an architect school.
Yeah.
So it usually happens that, you know, once an architect or I as a political scientist go to an architect meeting, I need to translate my words
I know what you
to
mean.
your own
Yeah.
words, you know. So maybe you can help us with that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So in the end, this IFC translates in a 3D model of the building, right? But this plan de situație is a very simplified 3D model. What's more important is basically the information that is attached to that 3D model. If you look at it, it's pretty basic. You've seen here in that picture. So you can see it in the left. It's just simple volumes, but when you select different parts of this model, you will see a lot of data, a lot of information about that building. So information like what is the cadastral number or who is the owner, maybe information about the project, what type of project are you doing there? Is it a new building? Is a renovation? And all that stuff, we mapped it and we got to around 75 different parameters. So those are stored inside this model. So they look like this. Yeah, it's in the paper. This is 2.5 pages of parameters. And you'll see the different columns. So in the left, you have the basic information. So it's like project number, title of the project, phase of the project, number of funciary book, cadastral number, street number of the parcel, and so on. And then you have technical stuff like where is the trash stored, where is what kind of green spaces and vegetation do you have, and all that stuff. You have terraces, you have balconies, and then you have the urban types of parameters, which are like what percentage of your plot is the building situated. So you have 30% or 50% of the plot. So those are regulated by the town hall. The town hall can tell you you can't build more than, I don't know, 30% of the total area of the site. And those kind of indicators are custom to the Romanian legislation. Yeah, 74 requirements, and you can see them here. The property name, and then you can see here you have the entities and the predefined type enumerated. So these are, let's say, almost programming language level of stuff, right? But you can see there's a pattern, IFC project. So the number of the project is placed on IFC project name. The title of the project is IFC project description. This is the common situation where name is a short description, description is a longer description, phase of the project, IFC project phase, and so on. But then you have this kind of ROPI set, which is a custom type of parameter set that you don't really find in the native IFC schema. And this is the roadmap of how we would create this. So you have different BIM authoring software. This concept of 3D buildings and a virtual model of the building is called BIM, Building Information Modeling. And you have different BIM authoring software. So you can model that building in a lot of different. We used the two most common BIM authoring tools here in Romania. Then you export that 3D model into IFC, which we were talking about earlier. And then here you can use multiple different tools to visualize the model and the data inside it. And then comes the interesting part where you have another concept, which is called IDS. I know there's a lot of acronyms in BIM. I know. IDS, Information Delivery Specification. This is a tool. It's also an open standard with which you can automatically check that all those parameters that I showed earlier are actually filled. Some rules you can say you need to have a maximum of 30% of. You can even specify the interval on which a value should be inserted there. And then you use this IDS, which is also like a file, an XML file, and then you can reuse it on all of the projects in the future. So you can check again and again and reduce the repetitive work of the people working in the town hall. I'm not sure if I'm making the presentation longer than Simona, but these are the results. So we have total of 74 properties. 44 are native to the IFC schema, so it's recognized internationally. 30 of them are custom parameters that we needed to basically think about ourselves and standardize. And you'll see you have base entities, which are IFC space, IFC covering. So IFC space is like this room. IFC covering is a ceiling. IFC site, it's obviously a site, and so on. So these are the main classes of IFC that we used for this. And these are legal or technical. And so exactly what I was saying. And this is the interesting part. 84% of them can be automatically checked with the IDS, with that file. And it takes, in total, I think we did the test, and it takes around 5 minutes to download the IFC, upload it on the IDS validator, which is usually a website, apply the IDS, and get the results, which is like a report. And the report tells you these parameters are okay, these are parts are failed, you need to re-enter the parameters or enter them. So 84% of all the information in this plan de situație can be checked automatically using open standards and open files that are non-proprietary. You don't depend on a software vendor, so it's doable.
You're basically showing local governments that they can do it very fast.
Yeah.
And you offer them a solution as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
And have you proposed them?
No, we wanted to do this first to have it officially presented in this sort of context. And now we'll start publishing, pushing it, and doing the lobby part. Yeah. Semi-automated 11% and 5% are manual checked. 5% are usually the geometric parts, where there isn't a really easy way to standardize how to. For example, it's called the trajectory lateral. So, what's the distance between the plot limit, the site limit, and your building? So that should be measured perpendicularly from the site to the corner of your building that is closest to it. So that's kind of difficult to standardize it to be checked automatically. So 5% of the rules, we leave it to the funcționar public, the civil to actually measure it. And that's another interesting thing. When you have like a not even a PDF, when you have usually a paper, you are not really sure as a public servant, you need to trust that information is correct. You don't really have ways to measure the area of green spații verzi. You don't really have a way to measure it.
And I'm sorry to make it longer.
I'm also sorry.
But the thing is that I really would like everyone to understand the concept. So when you're doing this like that, this means basically, can we use, information from satellites, like, because they were planning of using that to tax you for your pool in your garden, for instance, right? So you know what I mean, because now there's a lot of work being done. Also, I'm not saying NASA, but it's like you can visualize,
You don't need NASA. Yeah, definitely. You don't even need space. You can fly a drone. You can fly a drone and scan the whole city, and
so the 5% can be actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. So what you're talking about is the geo beam. So it's beam plus GIS, which is like the level 4 or 5, the more advanced levels. But this is like the first steps. Okay. Yeah. No problem.
Results, because now we get it. I think.
So the setbacks, the distances between the building and these are the 5% that need to be geometric distances yet. Completed under 5 minutes. This is important. So this is the concept that I talked earlier, that we got to a point where we called it proof of concept, this 3D model. But then you go into a more complex sets of information for more advanced permits, avise. And then you get to the actual end goal of obtaining the digital building permit, where the number of parameters probably could be double or triple of those we identified here. So it's a multi-stage process. We don't need to revolutionize everything from the start. Of course, when we're talking about transparency, there's going to be a lot of hurdles and friction and difficulty in adapting in the Romanian context. So we try to make it, see it as a strategically viable way to approach it. So here is the digital building permit strategy in the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or maybe challenges? Because I guess the point of having this presentation is actually to have, right, some hard questions.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that you can prepare for your civil servants meeting.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
let's train.
I have a question, but I think that you respond to it. Have you tried to
Have you tried to propose your idea to the National Order of Architects?
Yeah.
And also try to open a dialogue with them and to see what is
Yes.
their opinion about that, because I'm very curious.
Definitely. So one of the 10 site plans we studied was received from the Bucharest Order of Architects. And we were in contact with them directly. The next step will be to actually go to the National Order of Architects, because you have like different regional ones, like the Bucharest one, and you have the national one. So to have the biggest impact, we want to go to the national level and actually present it to them and start working on the subject. And also, we are in talks with the Cluj Consiliul Județean, I'm missing County Council, where there's a very smart county architect there who is also into digitalizing parts of the building permit process. And we want to start actually applying on a real project this in Cluj. So that's the next steps.
Thank you. Congratulations. And I think that it's a lobbying activity in.
Yeah, yeah. So what you see here is the effort, the technical effort that we did inside the working group from the start of 2025 in February. And now I guess the technical part is proven. We got to a proof of concept. We need to popularize it and make it available to everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
Simona is also, I think, on the call if you want to ask Simona something or.
No, I mean, the only thing that I would suggest, if I may, would be that I'm guessing you've already mapped a little bit what kind of challenges you will face when presenting this type of solution. Because a lot of people, you measure, I mean, you said something about transparency and that can create or produce some sort of a struggle, right?
Yeah.
Is that really all? Because I know that first of all, in local governments in Romania, we have an issue with architects, right? Each local government should have an architect, right?
Yeah.
On their team.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen.
A real architect.
Sorry?
A real architect.
Yeah, a real architect.
Yeah.
But this doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
Because there's less people coming to, work for the public sector, or at least this is how local governments argue.
Yeah.
Their failure in attracting, architects. So that's one. Second, you think that this particular solution would bring more light into how, for instance, different buildings are being built and how permits are being issued, right?
Yeah.
Because you assume that there is a high corruption or whatever, right, linked to the issuance of permits.
Yeah.
And with this one being upfront and transparent, that would mean that less.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
That's the biggest problem, I think.
That's the biggest one you've counted.
Yeah.
Okay, so that the mapping of the challenges would be first,
Yeah.
and then of course you would need a pilot, someone who's daring enough to, show that this works, and you
Yeah.
found it in Cluj.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And also at Suceava, because Simona
she's
is
from
working
there.
at the town hall. So
Okay.
also there we're gonna start working on the pilot project.
That's super. Have you also considered working with local government associations, like Association of Municipalities or Association of Communes? And
Yeah, we're looking into that. We actually had a conference we organized when we were in lockdown in 2021, and we got to the associations and it was very difficult to get the mayors on and the chief architects on. And I think we were a little bit too ahead of the curve at that point, because we talked about 3D GIS and all that stuff, and we got some Finnish guys to come and present, and those are basically the most advanced in this subject. And I think we just we didn't get any kind of feedback in the online conference setup. I don't know.
let me suggest that, we do have a very strong partnership with the associations of municipalities, for instance. So in case you need some sort of a contact there, we can definitely provide one.
Yeah.
You can find it yourself, but it's the least we can do since you've arrived in a faculty of public administration, and networking is what
if you actually have a contact,
sure.
we can.
Sure, we'll be happy to share it. So yeah, thank you for that, and sorry for harassing you.
No problem.
But I guess you need to
that's the whole idea. That's why I'm here.
That's the point of working with local government, I guess.
Yeah.
At some point you will get harassed.
Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Thanks
Thank
for
you very
a
much.
very informative presentation.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mihaela. Speaking about smart ADHD friendly university educational spaces.
Just to put my presentation on the computer. So I'm also an architect and I'm coming from the University of Architecture and Urbanism Ion Mincu from Bucharest. And today I will talk about my passion, a passion for architecture in intersection with medicine. I also want to follow the medicine faculty, but I just done my architecture education. And this presentation is together with my husband. He is a psychiatrist and also university assistant at Carol Davila, University of Medicine and Pharmacy from Bucharest. And this presentation is about smart ADHD friendly university educational spaces, because we are in a university and we have also students with this attention deficit or hyperactivity disorder, as it called this ADHD. We have no conflict of interest to declare with this presentation. So it's very easy to see disabled people with physical disabilities, with visible supports such as wheelchairs or sign language, but hidden or invisible disabilities like autism spectrum disorder or ADHD is not just very easy to see. But these invisible disabilities also exist. What is ADHD? ADHD is a neurodevelopmental disorder that persists into adulthood in a significant percentage of cases. When we talk about children, the percent is about 7 worldwide prevalence of ADHD, but also when we talk about adults, this percent is also about 6.5%. What are the ADHD symptoms? Attention difficulties such as sustained attention, focused attention, distractibility. Also, ADHD comes with other mental, physical hyperactivity and impulsivity, and also with executive dysfunctions. When we talk about university environment for students with ADHD, we have to know they have attention deficits, ADHD-related mental disorders, and executive function deficits. And we have to know what is the evolution of ADHD symptoms in adults. Decreased symptoms of motor hyperactivity, but increased symptoms of mental hyperactivity, and also increases the impact of executive dysfunction. And this paper is about architecture and design of contemporary university educational spaces to support the performance of students with ADHD, the well-being, and it is about user-centered design, about accessibility and inclusivity. The paper is a narrative review and investigates in an interdisciplinary manner architecture, medicine, but also psychology, the types of intervention of physical environmental, but also including digital technologies. We used case studies and also examples of good practice for inclusive educational spaces. What are the challenges of the physical environment in university spaces for students with ADHD? For example, sensory overload environment, open and crowded spaces, lack of visual structure, also intense artificial lighting, also temperature is a problem, decreased ability to concentrate, lack of anti-burnout spaces, relaxed spaces, or retreat spaces areas is for students with ADHD is very hard to have self-regulation of emotions. And now I will show you 11 principles for ADHD-friendly educational spaces. The first one is very important, to provide a calm environment in soothing colors such earth tones without unnecessary decoration of visual and auditory distraction. I recommended shades of blue that increase productivity, help with organization, and also shades of green support focus, motivate, reduce stress. Another principle is about lighting, both natural and also artificial. It's very important to adjust this light. And we talk about inclusive lighting strategies, adjustable light control, natural light integration, layer lighting. For example, it's very important to reduce sensory stimuli and anxiety in transition areas, in halls. Lighting levels are lower than in educational areas, and the lighting is good to be indirect. Very important to have also closed space, not just open areas, not just open foyer, closed spaces, soundproof spaces, avoiding distracting elements. Or these cubicles, these closed spaces in open spaces, such in image from the right part of the slide. Another principle is maintaining a spatial routine and minimizing surprises. It's very important to use color coding. For example, a specific function of a space to have a specific color. Spatial orientation is a difficult aspect for people with ADHD. Another principle is to have a specific configuration of the education spaces, of the labs, of the seminar spaces. It's very good for ADHD students to have traditional row seating, but also to have strategic placement. For example, front rows near the teacher, near the professor, to have fewer distraction, faster feedback. It's very important to avoid distraction sources, such as to put these students beyond windows or doors. It's very important to have enclosed classrooms, not open space with walls and doors, and to have flexible furniture and cubicles. Also, these architectural strategies can also be helped with smart technology. For example, digital equipment can facilitate rapid changes in teaching mode, maintaining attention of these students. Another principle is using materials that provide a neat and tidy appearance. And also, we could help with architecture and design with smart technologies, for example, cloud storage system and digital homework delivery. Another very important aspect is to use organizational and ergonomic and comfortable furniture. Closed furniture, not open furniture. And this kind of chairs with curved areas. And another principle is ensuring thermal comfort and the possibility of easily adjusting the temperature. And another principle very important for adults, also for adults with ADHD, is encouraging spending time outdoors for both learning and relaxation, because in the schools, children have this kind of outdoor learning areas. But when we talk about university, these spaces in Romania, for example, are not included. And finally, an ADHD-friendly architecture is an architecture for all the user, for neurodiversity, is an inclusive architecture. It's just good for all the people. And I want to show you some furniture ADHD-friendly with these curved screens that provides a sense of security for neurodiverse students. And this kind of furniture can be also in the foyer, in the networking areas. And this kind of ergonomic chairs designed to increase comfort and concentration and to permit this movement of these people to stay, for example, as in the right side of the slide with the legs crossed. And these kind of chairs are very good for people with ADHD. We can just move on this chair. And these cubicles, these areas, for example, in the library, just to stay alone and to concentrate on learning. And this color coding of the functional area, different colors for different function. For example, a specific color for the lab, a specific color for the library. And yes, we have kindergarten and schools ADHD friendly, but we don't have ADHD friendly university. What it means to include the students with ADHD is about embrace universal design for learning, is about provide targeted support, optimize the sensory environment, increase awareness and training, and finally creating ADHD friendly university, because we have students, I have students with ADHD. And these are good practice examples of adaptive design for people with ADHD. This is a very recent project from 2024 from USA. This school is designed for students with specific learning disabilities, and with this interior courtyard with very natural elements in order to support students to learn outside, to use this interior courtyard. The area is about 440 square meters, and is for about 120 children. And these are examples. I just found only 2 ADHD-friendly university, and also this university are not just the best examples. So first one is in USA. This is the image, and in accordance with the principle of the ADHD-friendly design and architecture, the spaces, of course, provide order, calm, is with blue and green colors, but are not configured also with closed spaces to help minimize distraction and to just to help to focus on learning. And this example is from Ireland, has become the first university in Ireland to be officially named as ADHD-friendly university. And these are images from the interior with color coding, but also with this very large space is not just good for concentrate. And I want to show you a NeuroArchi lab. Is a laboratory from our university. Has 1 year this lab, and is about. And if you just scan this QR code, you just enter our website. Is about studying neuroarchitecture, architecture. As an experience to space experience, what emotion we develop in this experience of different spaces. And we are an interdisciplinary team. For example, Alexandru Berceanu is associate professor at UNATC. Of course, we are a lot of architects, but also a physician from Turnu Măgurele, and also a medical doctor. And we have different projects on this intersection between architecture and neurosciences. And I come to the end. An ADHD-friendly education spaces is about improving lighting workplaces without distracting elements, about to put quiet areas, to control the noise, to have outdoor spaces, to have furniture with sensors, to have diverse study spaces and not just fixed spaces, and to have comfortable furniture. And it's very important to be open to a multidisciplinary approach and also an interdisciplinary approach. Of course, in the ADHD, the pharmacological treatment is very effective. It's the first line, but also we get help from psychological intervention, and also for this from this adaptation of the environment, from this accommodation. It's just about a supportive space, an inclusive space, a design that is interdisciplinary architect, medical doctor, psychologist, kinetotherapist, and it's also about to involve the students in the design and also the family of the students. And this is an ADHD-friendly educational environment. And of course, we are in Romania. We have a funding limitation. We don't have ADHD-friendly university in the present because integrating digital assistive technology and reconfiguring spaces requires a strong institutional commitment. And this presentation is a pioneering work. We think so. The topic is very new because there are studies about ADHD-friendly architecture for children, but not for adults, for young adults like students. Yes. Thank you very much for listening me.
Thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions?
Let me take it there and then.
No, but I mean, it's because if people watch online.
Okay, sorry. Thank you for your presentation. I was just curious because you have in the title this expression is supporting the performance of students. Did you study if this type of friendly educational spaces have a direct impact on their academic performance?
Yes, we don't have this kind of study. We have this study for children, and of course, the environment, the physical environment, is very important for the well-being of the students. Is very important this well-being in order to have performance. And yes, the space can contribute to focus on learning, to focus on a particular exercise. Yes, it's very important. But these studies are on children, mainly on children.
Yeah, I was just curious because I was curious how you measure that. How you measure their performance? Did you check their results? I don't know.
It is not is a narrative review. Yes, there are a few studies, but not very much the literature on young adults such as children. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But I have students with ADHD, and I saw their performance in very large spaces as we have in our university. They not concentrate. They are very agitated. They want to change this position and just to stand up and just to stand down, and they don't have. They are restless. Yes.
Just to follow up on that one, but you do know how you measure this for children? To measure
yes.
the impact of good architecture to children. You have that, and you can actually use it for students as well.
Yes, but of course we have to have studies on these young adults. But this ADHD is not automatically disappear. Yes, it's also at the young adults.
Yeah.
Also at my husband has patients of about 50, 55, 60 years with ADHD.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, maybe other questions?
Yes, thank you. It was a very interesting question, and I have a lot of things in my mind, and I'm sure the university administration will not love you if you will propose such kind of because in most of the universities we have the buildings from the past, and it is what it is. So it's not a very popular saying, but
but are not very expensive. This adaptation, no. Just to have a different warm light, not not a blue light, for example.
Budgetary constraints.
Okay.
Is very expensive now.
Yes.
But,
A soundproof area, more soundproof.
You have to change the windows.
Yes.
But my question was different a little bit because as I noticed, you have to redesign the educational space. talk from different perspectives. Do you have in mind somehow to train the teachers to use this new space? Because you have to adapt your teaching methodology to these new spaces, so to change, to have a refresh of the mind of the professor, to not stay in one point and on the pedestal and look down to the students and to be there and moving. So do you have some strategy for
in architectural education? We are more we are moving in the space. We not just stay here and the students are in the front of us. We are flexible in architectural education. I don't know how is in another.
Yes, it's a very happy case, but in most of the time it's not happening, and there's a lack of the pedagogical training of the higher education.
Yes, yes.
Because in the middle education that is okay, they have a lot of trainings, but it considered that it's not necessary in higher education. But with the new space, new idea, I think they must invest beside of the buildings and the furniture. I think we must invest also in the human resource to be able to use this new space, because a new space with old teaching methods is not. I'm not sure that it will work. And another question is how regular students feel in this adapted spaces.
Just perfect, because we are happy if we have colors. If we have, for example, a blue wall, it doesn't matter if it's or a green wall, and we have a warm light. It's a good architecture for every users, and also for the children, also for the professors, for the young adults. No, an inclusive architecture is an architecture good for all. This is my message. It's not a good architecture just for a particular user. No, it's good for everyone. Yes, and we have to pay attention with about the mental health of our students. We have students with anxiety, with depression. Yes, yes.
Sometimes we care about them when it's too late.
Yes.
Or if we don't know about them.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that, because actually I was about to ask you how many people have ADHD, as you know.
About 7%.
What we know.
Yes,
this is
yes,
what
yes,
I know.
yes,
Because
yes.
actually there's a lot of people that do have the illness, but they are not diagnosed.
Yes,
so,
yes.
You know, yeah, so it really looks wonderful. And I do hope, because we are, I know maybe people in the room know, but our university is also part of SCIC, which is the European University of Social Sciences. And we have there a specific focus on inclusiveness in education. But so far, with all the workshops we've been working on, and we did approach from different areas, right? Because right now, actually, is happening an inclusive workshop for universities, like in Stockholm right now. And we have colleagues there, reporting and sending us, okay, well, we learned that and that. But I've never heard of, a presentation looking at the architecture of the room, of, the university, of, spaces there that would actually be helpful and more inclusive towards, all different kinds of potential beneficiaries. So with your permission, I will keep that in mind. And when we organize the inclusive workshop, or we have some kind of, maybe you can be interested in joining us.
Of course. Thank you very much for your
learn about these things, it's not only about the money. I mean,
No,
honestly,
it's not,
we need to switch bulbs and, light bulbs and whatever, And I'm not talking about like really large investments here, but instead of having this type
you
of
have a
chairs,
beautiful building. This building is it's just good.
I wish it was a little bit different. But anyway, the thing is, however, it is beautiful compared to other spaces, honestly. I mean, there are places where, students are still sitting there and the professor is there somewhere in it. But the thing is that it doesn't take much time nor much money to actually switch some things and make it easier and more friendly towards everyone. Not only students, but also, as you said, professors and other members of different communities. So I'll keep that in mind with your permission, and I'll text you whenever we have this kind of inclusive workshops, just to, set a signal to others that, you know, there are
I'll be honored.
Yes, no, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for that very informative
Thank you very much.
presentation. I'm just confirming that Venkat is not here. Okay, so that brings us to the conclusion of this session. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all our speakers today for the very interesting presentations. Yeah, so thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, now we have tea break, coffee break, or whatever break you think is necessary. And like in 30 minutes, we have the closing of the conference. So in case you want to stick around, we will meet. Yeah. The closing is actually at the 8th floor. So if you want to go upstairs, we can maybe see something of Bucharest and its lights from the terrace. But that's it. Because otherwise, you know. So thank you. Oh my God, so you were right. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much. How are you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you just have to look at that.
Thank you so much. So good to see you, actually.
I'll be okay. But hopefully we can
Sure, for sure. Yeah, I would love the. I've been. I mean, I saw a couple of big artists like last year and this year. So but I've never been to your site. Yeah. So there.
We have a transdisciplinary research centre, and there's a lot of areas where there's room for working together, and in particular social sciences and policy.
Yeah, I wish you had more time.
But yeah, we'll stand.
Yeah, for sure. Can you stay?
I think so.
No, likewise. So happy, and I'm sorry I'm running around. We also have a blended program with students coming from Bucharest, so that's why I was in another location.
It was a great pleasure to you take a good presentation, and I will answer.
I just enjoy a little bit of Bucharest. I hope
Yes, a little bit shopping.
Exactly, because now it's time we have a lot of Christmas markets, so maybe you find something.
Absolutely. And I hope that next year.
Please don't be a stranger, and if you want to, if you have in other time rather than December, just write me and we'll make an invitation. Thank you so much. Thank you, and have a very good trip, and now a very good shopping. Take care.
Bye.
Era ceva triste, dar nu era nici triste, nici bine, hai că bine era. Da, astăzi eu chiar și vreau să transmit.
How was the flight?
Yeah. 20 hours.
How many layovers?
One stop.
Okay.
But I think 20 hours of travel time.
Yeah, it's difficult. I've been recently to Singapore, and before that to Hong Kong. It's like a 13-14 hour flight.
Yeah, that's powerful. But when you live in Australia,
Have you been to Romania before?
I think 4 times.
Probably this year, right? In this context. Okay.
Yeah, I've been this is the second time to Bucharest.
Okay.
But most of the time, yeah. With my colleague. we take students, we bring students from Australia, and they do placement with environmental consultants.
Yeah.
In Romania.
Yeah.
It's good for their education.
That's great.
In terms of your presentation, you said that you're at level 1, and that digital twin is like the gold medal. How long do you think it would take to get to that?
Well, as far as we're concerned, the faster the better. But we co-founded this association in 2016. So we're 9 years into it, and we're still between 0 and 1. So it's just getting there. But the thing, well, the focus hasn't been digital developments from the start. It's been on the being concept to popularize it, and we've kind of done that. From that point of view, the digital developments is actually not so widespread internationally. So there are some very big countries like Finland, Austria, Singapore, Holland, so Japan, and then you have like municipalities that are individuals that are advanced. But it's so complex that it's only now starting to become like a mainstream. So we're making steps, also trying to accelerate, because if you have these examples, you can jump over and move faster if you learn from those examples. So that's all. Yeah. Thank Mulțumesc pentru oportunitate și răspunsem la procedură fizică.
We go back to the level 8.
Level 8?
Where we started in this morning. In the room where we started.
Yes, we finished where we started.
Yeah. Circular economy.
Bine, mai mulți oameni acolo, eu nu v-aș trimite direct la director, pentru că omul e director executiv. Eu aș fi zis să vă dau contactul pentru Diana Brânceanu, ea e cea care se ocupă de proiectele lor.
Okay.
Și în momentul în care, nu știu, vreți să vorbiți cu ea sau nu știu ce, să-i dați direct
Ok, perfect.
Imediat. Și eu o să-i scriu, oricum, ca să știe în cazul în care e treabă. Deci 0726 592 762. Diana Brânceanu. AMR, Asociația Municipiilor din România. Și dați-mi că eu o să-i scriu și să zic numărul de telefon.
Da.
Este nu Ștefan.
Constantinescu. Trebuie să treceți, nu știu, BIMTEC, așa se numește asociația noastră. Mâintul echipă. Așa, 0743 012 170. Mulțumesc mult de tot.
De ce? Sper să vă ajute în vreun fel, că ei se văd tot timpul cu primari, cu oamenii care sunt de fapt în zona tehnică și păcat.
Să mai vedem
Da.